What if the glamorous world of fame and fortune was nothing more than a beautifully crafted illusion? What if, behind the flashing lights and adoring crowds, there was a woman trapped in a nightmare, unable to escape? The name Linda Lovelace is synonymous with the golden age of adult films. To the world, she was an icon, a symbol of sexual revolution, a woman who seemed to own her desires and her image. But what if everything people believed about her was a lie? What if, behind the carefully constructed facade, there was a woman crying out for help, a woman who had been forced into the very life that made her famous? This is the haunting story of Linda Lovelace, a woman who became a star, but at a price no one could imagine. Linda Boreman was just another ordinary girl growing up in a strict Catholic household, where rules were rigid, and her mother, Dorothy, ensured discipline with an iron hand. Linda longed for freedom, for a life beyond the suffocating expectations of her upbringing. She was a dreamer, someone who wanted to explore the world, to live a life that felt larger than the quiet, restrictive one she had always known. Then, she met Chuck Traynor. Chuck was everything Linda thought she needed, a man who exuded charm, confidence, and a sense of danger that felt thrilling. He seemed to offer her an escape, a chance to break free from her sheltered life and experience the world in a way she never had before. To Linda, Chuck wasn't just a boyfriend, he was a doorway to adventure, someone who could introduce her to excitement and passion. But love, as Linda soon realized, can sometimes be the most dangerous illusion of all. Chuck was not just a lover, he was a master manipulator. He saw in Linda not a partner but an opportunity, a commodity that could be shaped, controlled, and sold to the highest bidder. And like all skilled manipulators, he knew exactly how to lure her in, how to make her feel special, how to convince her that she needed him as much as he needed her. At first, it was subtle. Little things. Chuck making decisions for her. Chuck telling her what to wear, how to behave, what to say. Then, it escalated. The control tightened, and soon, Linda wasn't making any choices of her own. Every move she made was dictated by Chuck. And then came the ultimate betrayal. Under Chuck's influence, Linda was coerced into starring in Deep Throat, a film that would not only change her life but also redefine the adult film industry forever. To the world, Deep Throat was a cultural revolution. It was one of the first adult films to break into mainstream cinema, praised for its humor and its seemingly empowered lead actress. Linda Lovelace became a household name overnight. She was hailed as a trailblazer, a woman who had taken control of her sexuality and wasn't afraid to show it. But behind closed doors, Linda was a prisoner. Chuck controlled every aspect of her life, dictating her actions, her words, and even her body. He didn't just manipulate her, he abused her. Physically, emotionally, mentally. He used violence to keep her in line, threats to ensure her silence, and fear to maintain his grip on her life. The money that Deep Throat made? Linda never saw a dime. The admiration of millions? It meant nothing when she had no say in her own destiny. While the world saw her as a woman in charge, Linda was living in constant terror, performing not out of choice but out of sheer survival. Yet, she played the role she was forced into. She smiled in interviews. She told the world she was happy. Because what else could she do? Who would believe the truth if she dared to tell it? Despite the success of Deep Throat, Linda's reality was anything but glamorous. The abuse didn't stop. If anything, Chuck became more controlling, more violent, more ruthless in ensuring that she remained his property. Then, one day, Linda made the decision that would change everything. She chose to fight back. It wasn't easy. Walking away from an abuser, especially one who held power over her, required immense courage. But Linda was no longer the naive young girl who had fallen for Chuck's charm. She had seen the worst of humanity and had survived. And now, she was determined to reclaim her voice. Linda left the adult film industry and disappeared from the public eye. But her story was far from over. Years later, she re-emerged, not as Linda Lovelace, the adult film star, but as Linda Boreman, the survivor. She told the world the truth about what had happened to her, exposing the dark side of an industry that had once celebrated her. She became an advocate against pornography, speaking out about exploitation and abuse, determined to prevent others from suffering the way she had. Her transformation was nothing short of extraordinary. She went from being a puppet controlled by powerful men to a woman who owned her narrative. She proved that even the most broken souls can find the strength to rise, to tell their truth, and to fight for justice. Linda's story is a stark reminder that real love empowers rather than imprisons. If someone seeks to control you, dictate your choices, and manipulate your actions, it isn't love, it's possession. Many times, Linda might have felt that something was wrong, but the fear of losing Chuck's affection kept her from acting. Learning to trust your gut feeling can be the difference between safety and danger. The world saw Linda as a superstar, but she was suffering in silence. No amount of money, admiration, or external success can make up for inner pain and lack of freedom. Linda's journey was difficult, and she suffered greatly. But she escaped. Her story proves that leaving an abuser is possible, and life beyond that pain can be brighter than ever imagined. Despite her time in the adult film industry, despite her trauma, Linda refused to let her past dictate her future. She rewrote her story on her own terms, proving that no matter how dark one's past is, redemption is always possible. Linda's bravery in telling her truth inspired countless others to speak out about their own abuse. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is share your story. The story of Linda Lovelace is more than just a tale of fame and downfall, it is a powerful reminder of the dangers of blind trust, the importance of self-worth, and the resilience of the human spirit. It teaches us that appearances can be deceiving, that what we see on the surface is often just a fraction of the truth. And perhaps the most important lesson of all, no matter how deep the darkness, there is always a way out. Linda found hers. And so can anyone who dares to reclaim their story, their power, and their life.